Monday.
Good morning to you. It is Monday the 5th of February. This is Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. The mum of murdered teenager Brianna Ghey has been speaking about the challenges of parenting in an online world.
I understand how difficult being a parent is in this current day and age with technology and phones and the internet, and how hard it is to actually monitor what your child is on.
That's Esther Ghey speaking to Laura Kunsberg yesterday. Esther's been roundly praised for the compassion that she has shown to the mum, particularly of Scarlett Jenkinson, one of Brianna's killers. But is she right? Have technology and phones in particular made it harder to parent? 0808 592 9500 is the number to call. Also coming up, Susie McCabe on how she learned to be funny.
You know it's a big gig because my name's hanging off a bed sheet. I feel like it's my birthday.
Susie is joining us after 10. That's just ahead of the Glasgow International Comedy Festival.
Hey kids, remember the time you thought you had inheritance? Well, here we are. Your mom and I are sitting there spinning it as we sail around the world on the Royal Caribbean Ultimate World Cruise.
Yeah, we'll speak to one half of the couple spending their kids' inheritance on a 9-month cruise. Also,
I don't want to be told to grow up, and I don't want to change. I just want to have fun. I don't want to be told to grow up. Not me.
well, it used to just be Peter Pan who would never grow up, but we'll find out what a kidult is and why some of us are never growing up. And
For the love of money.
Gotta make that money, man. Money, baby, still the same now. Gotta make that money, man.
head. He's here with his saving surgery. He's here to help you make the most of your money. So any questions at all? I think we've got quite a few in already. You can text them 80295. Your standard network message rate applies.
Okay, give it up for...
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Never been good at waiting till you showed me patience. How you know me? Yeah, it shows me I was the one needing saving. Put my cape on my back when it felt unattached. When I was at my lowest, you saw Superman. It's a bird, it's a plane. Oh, call me your Superman. Dun 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 dun, Superman. Forever. Made me feel stronger than a locomotive when you hold me. And I'm running faster than a speeding bullet just to get right to your baby. With my cape on my back when it felt unattached. When I was at my lowest, you saw Superman. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's me, baby. Call me your Superman. Dun 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 dun, Superman. Whatever, tweet, tweet, tweet. Put my cape on my back when it felt unattached. When I was at my lowest, you saw Superman. Superman. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's me, baby. Call me your Superman. Dun 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 dun, Superman. Superman. I'll be your Superman. Saving, I'll save you. When you need saving, I'll be there. Save you, I'll come save you. When you need saving,
So, the Glasgow International Comedy Festival turns 21 this year, and homegrown comedian Susie McCabe has already had to add an extra show to her run at the King's Theatre. She's come a long way since signing up for an 8-week course on how to be a stand-up. But for women who want to follow in her footsteps, the festival offers a similar route, a comedy course to help them get a leg up in the industry. We have got Krista McDonald, the festival director, with us. Hi, Krista.
Hi, Kay, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And you probably have recognised that distinctive giggle there from Susie McCabe. Merchant of Menace is her show at the Glasgow Kings. And we're also joined by Hannah Morton, and she'll be bringing the Sad Girls Club to Oranmore. That's on Saturday, the 23rd of March. I didn't realise, Susie, you'd gone on a course to learn comedy.
Yeah, I was. So it was a dare. It was a dare, and it was actually quite a sad story. My friend Maz Carruthers, who's actually someone that you had met, had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, Kate, and me and a mutual friend went, life is short, we have to do something to scare ourselves. And I said to him, I can't jump out of a plane. And he went, you can do this comedy course and I make you laugh and you make me laugh, and you know what? Why don't we do it? I dare you. And I went, fine. And now this was at 3 a.m. after a lot of food and a lot of alcohol. And the next morning, he'd stayed over, and the next morning, 2 of us were in the kitchen. And he went, do you remember what you agreed to last night? And I said, yeah, let's do it. I said, absolutely no problem. And I had no intention of telling anyone. I had no intention of ever doing it again. I was just going to do, basically a funny story someone could say at my funeral, and lo and behold, here I am now with 3 King's shows in the diary.
It's incredible. But so at that time, how long ago was that, and what were you doing at that time?
So it was 2010, and I was an electrical estimator. I'd been an electrician, I was an electrical estimator, and I had a really nice career. I had a really good job, but a really nice career. And then I'd done this thing, and when people say, you'll never work a day in your life if you enjoy it. And when you work, you go, that's such a lot of nonsense. And then you find something that's your thing. And I'll never forget that first gig. And I realised I'd found my thing. So for 8.5 years, I balanced a career and I balanced comedy and grown my comedy career to the point where I could then travel the country as a headliner or an MC before I really called myself a comedian. And then I went full time, and then COVID hit. And I went back to work as an electrical estimator.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, I couldn't work, and it was just one of those unfortunate things. And I had to do something for my own mental health as well as just the financial implications of that. So soon, I was fortunate enough, I had really good connections in the industry who were like, we will basically find a job for you. And there's always a job for an estimator, because ultimately it's about price and work and keeping people employed. And I done that, and then as the world slowly opened back up, that allowed me to go back in to comedy. But it was quite funny because I managed to go in, and suddenly it just rocketed for me, because I was meant to play the Kings for the first time on my own 28th of March 2020 and we went into lockdown the 23rd, and there was certain points during lockdown I never thought I would work again. And then to actually finally do that show in 2022, one night at the King's Theatre, was incredible. But then to go back the next year with a new show and get 2 nights, and now this year I've got 2 nights and 3 shows, which is just, when you think back to that time of COVID, you think, I don't know if I'll ever do my job ever again without looking at a computer screen. And now you think, no, we're all back and everything else. But yeah, I'm incredibly lucky that I managed to come through at a time when there was a well-established comedy festival that let me build an audience. You don't just start at the King's Theatre. I started in Dram, 2 shows back to back in a little 60-seater venue, sold out the first one very quickly, sold out the second one. The next year it was the Stand on a Wednesday night, then the Stand on a Thursday night, and Tommy Shepherd was a real champion of me, and he was like, let's get you a Saturday night. And I sold out 2 shows in 24 hours for my 2018 show, and that's when it flipped for me to then start to make inroads to head to the King's Theatre.
But I think it's so interesting to hear you lay it out like that. And Krista, going to the course that you're going to be offering as part of the festival, I mean, people will see Susie up on the stage at the King's and say, oh, that's magic, you know, as if she just appeared there by magic. Whereas actually, as Susie's described it, this is a craft, it's a trade, it's something you have to learn. And actually, you know, there may be people out there who are doing any other kind of job that if they were introduced to some kind of course, it might set them off on a path as it did Susie.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I think to have a career and to have success like Susie's had, it's graft. It's like anything else, you learn your craft, you put in the work, and nobody puts the work in like Susie, it has to be said. And but it is definitely one of the reasons that the course is so important, and especially for women, it's also making sure that there's a clear, safe space where they can just take that one step, like that, the one kind of step that's holding them back, and whether that's been a financial barrier, a confidence barrier, or just not knowing what to do with it. That was the idea about creating this space, to just let people take that step.
What's involved and who's it open to?
So it was open. The applications are closed now, but the applications were open to anyone, any women or marginalised gender that was an absolute kind of beginner, if you like, in comedy, and it was any age and any stage and any place, and you know, I was really privileged to be able to assess the applications, which were heavily oversubscribed. So that was wonderful, because it just made it clear that we've got to do a lot more of it next year, which is great. But just reading all of them, just the privilege that it is to feel like you might be able to help somebody take that first step. And even if it is, like Susie says, no intention of doing it as a job or anything like that, but if they just have that moment, or they have that feeling, or they just realise that they actually can take that step, they can do that thing. And in this case it's comedy, right? But also to have that in a safe space, and to have somebody like Viv who's taken it. I mean, Viv
taught me.
I mean, she's an absolutely unparalleled master in teaching, and she just brings out the best in everyone. And I mean, she really should have some weird cult type masterclass gig going on.
And she
so
taught
lovely.
a few, like
loads,
myself, Mark Nelson, Des McLean, Des Clark. Like there's a whole load of people have went through kind of Viv stewardship, if you like.
And it is a stewardship. It's such a good word, because it's not just the skills of actually building a set or building, you know, that work and that craft. It's also the care. Like you know, like Viv's at your wedding, obviously your pals decide that, but she doesn't really let you go. It's not like, oh, come in and do this.
It's
and
a
then
cult.
Cheerio.
That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
She said not to call it a cult, negative connotations, but but in all seriousness, like, you know, the work that she does, and she does it in schools, and she does it with seniors, and she does, you know, and she does professional comedy courses. But it's really, I just would like lots more people to know about Viv and the work she does. I think she's a really essential part of Scottish comedy.
She's been very integral to Scottish
comedy. 100%.
Yeah. And I think it will be great for people to hear, you know, that this is, you know, something that you can learn, and that there are people there prepared to help you learn and to grow and develop your craft. But Hannah, and I'm sorry I have to say this, you don't need any of this because you've learned from the best.
It depends what you mean by that. It depends who you're asking, to be honest. So Elephant in the Room is my mammy is Mary Doll. She's Lindsay Smith. So yeah, I have literally just watched her do it. But don't get me wrong, I do like a very sort of different thing. Like, I'm not a stand-up, which is quite like, people hear comedy and they go like, oh, so have you been on at the Stand? And I was like, oh no, I read comedy plays and do that. But it is like, I've literally, we talk about like trying to get more women into comedy and things like that. I've watched my mum do that struggle of just being like, for a long time, one of the only women to be doing it. And she had to sort of carve that out for like a lot of young women to go, because she did sort of realise like, if she didn't do it well enough, then nobody else would be allowed to do it, to be honest, because it's that sort of thing of like, if the one woman on the mixed bill comedy night isn't funny, then all women aren't funny. and then they're not going to give another woman a shot and things like that. So yeah, I've sat at the side of the King's Panto stage and just watched it and just soaked it up like a sponge and
heckled her.
Yeah, this is rubbish. No, but literally, like, I didn't want to do it. I really rejected it for ages. Wanted to go to art school, wanted to be an artist, all this sort of stuff, and then like both me and my mum sort of like slowly went, oh no, you want to do this, don't you? And I was like, yeah, sadly I do.
Oh really? So you were resisting it for a while?
Didn't want anything to do with it. My sister's the same. My sister works in a bank, like literally wanted nothing to do with it. I think my sister got like a bit more Rab C. Nesbitt stuff at the time. Like she got Mavie Doll heckled down the corridor at her and stuff like that. Whereas I got to watch my mum in panto and things like that. So like it was like my mum does panto and I was like, oh right, okay, that's actually really nice. But really for ages was like, no, don't want to do it. And then I was like, oh Jesus. Oh no. Because it's not I think that's the thing that I learned most was that it's not easy. Trying to be a funny, opinionated woman with your own views and your own voice and trying to take up as much space as you're allowed to be honest. It's not fighting for it. So as you go, oh, this is going to be difficult. But you do it because you love it.
So we're still in that place then, Susie. Okay.
I think we've moved back in just general society, and Kay, you will have been a victim of this, and it doesn't matter if you're a female stand-up or if you're a female politician or a female musician or a female sports player or a presenter. In the world that we live in with social media, there can be from certain sections of society a real anti-women thing about how dare you have an opinion, how dare you be educated and have an opinion, know your place. And I think that's a thing. Then you've also got the class thing in that as well. Like, you know, like let's be honest, I am, you know, a working class gay woman, and that upsets an awful lot of people normally with a lot of numbers in their social media profile, right? but you will have been victim to it. We all have sat around this table in one form or another. And I think I was very fortunate. I was 17 in 1997 and it felt that the world moved to a much more positive place. And it now feels that over the past, 13 to 15 years that the world has somewhat regressed with regards to that, where we've had higher profile women. I mean, if you look at even just Scottish politics in general, where we had 3 female leaders of parties, and you've seen the abuse that like all those women took, regardless of their politics and regardless of their party, the absolute misogyny and abuse that these women had the absolute audacity to be politicians and be educated. And it's a thing. And do you know what the comedy course will do? They'll say, I'll just do it once and I'll never do it again.
They'll get the bug. They'll get the bug.
As soon as they get that first laugh, that will be them hooked. But what it will do is give you a place and an opportunity to build your own confidence. You might be a mother in your 30s with a couple of kids. You maybe feel that you've lost your identity a wee bit, is what happens with a lot of women. And this maybe gives you a room and a space to actually go back to being you and not just be mum, not just be partner, not just be daughter, to actually be that person and reclaim your voice, because at some point you've had a voice and your life is just taking you in a path where, other things come into it, and that maybe just gives you a space and a time and a focus where you can go, oh, I remember that story from when I was 22 and I done this and I done that. And you then can start to go, no, wait a minute, I was this person and I actually still am this person. I've just needed this little jump start of a course to do it.
And it's the other barriers as well. I mean, like the financial barriers, for example. That's why we're so delighted to be able to offer the course for free. And that definitely did come through quite a lot in the applications. And even, from maybe a single mother point of view or a child care. So even if the expense like, it's not even just the expense of the course. It's just even if you had the money for the course, it's like, have you got money for childcare? Have you got anyone?
Travel.
Can you be out at night?
Yeah.
Do you feel safe being just rocking up to an open mic somewhere when you don't know anyone or you don't know what you're doing? How do you like break that first barrier? And I think the thing that is really very special about Glasgow, obviously I think I'm a bit biased, I think a lot of things are special about Glasgow, but especially for comedy, like I think Glasgow's the funniest city in the world, and I've got Sir Billy Connolly on video saying the same, so I think I'm allowed to say that. If he said it, I'm happy to echo it. But also, especially for funny females, like there cannot be a city in the world that has the legacy and the amount of funny women that Glasgow has. You know, you look, obviously Elaine, and it was really nice at the gala last year when Elaine presented the Sir Billy Connolly Spirit of Glasgow Award to Janie and Susie was there as a nominee, and it was like Janie said, if it wasn't for Elaine, I wouldn't be standing here. And I know you've said if it wasn't for Janie, you wouldn't have been standing there. And then it's who's next, you know.
And if it wasn't for Elaine, and if it wasn't for Dorothy Paul, and if it wasn't for Janie, and
everybody, like,
and it was from your granny, wasn't it? From your granny down, because what we have in Scotland, and especially the west of Scotland, is matriarchal women who will just tell you how it is, and they will be dry and sharp to the point. And like Mary Doll, right? It was the first funny woman that I seen that looked like my auntie.
Yeah,
right.
Well, she talks about and because originally it was a naked video.
Yes, that's right. Aye.
And she was just credited as wife, so it was man with bandage and wife. And so then that's the whole thing of like, even in like plays and acting and the way I've came through it, the reason I started writing was because I was sick of being the girlfriend, the mum, a lot of the time the prostitute as well seems to be one, the pregnant woman who's crying over her man's left. I was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
And so Mary Doll, especially, as much as somehow she resonated with so many women and they were like, I know that woman. That's my auntie, that's my granny, and don't get me wrong, my mum still gets that to this day, going like, people tell me I look like you, and then I think it's that they actually look like Mary Doll, they don't look like my mum.
I actually went to the panto this year, right? And I was sat there, and there was me, my wife, and my niece and my nephew, and I thought, isn't it lovely? And as we were coming out the car park, Elaine was going in to the car park, and she was walking in, and my wife turned around and said to me, and she said, Elaine C. Smith was the first person I ever asked for an autograph.
Oh,
because
really?
that to her was like,
absolutely,
it's Elaine C. Smith.
People go like the
so
fandom
relatable.
round her is crazy sometimes.
And the two kids were like, that's the women from the panto. They're like 12 and 9, they're not even that young.
And now we've got Two Doors Down, so Anna goes on and Anna goes on.
Fandom is absolutely
off the scale,
crazy. They go, and then I think that's for ages. So especially like her being my mammy, that it was like sometimes it became like depending on what age range I was talking to, because you got some people going, hey, was your mum somebody? And I'd be like, if you can tell me her name, then I'll tell you. A lot of the time I'd be like, yeah, she's Lorraine Kelly. Just to see what they, because I was like,
something wrong, she's Lorraine Kelly.
That's right. And then so it depends on the age range of them. You get like, oh, Mary Doll, and then you get the panto, and now somehow the sort of Gen Z for some reason Gen Z love Two Doors Down, and so they now recognise her for that. So she keeps like just sort of peaks and troughs of
it. She ain't going away, thank God. Listen, I could speak to the three of you all day. Listen, thank you so much for coming in. As you say, Krista, this course the applications are now closed because it was oversubscribed, but it sounds as if it's something that you really want to continue as part of the
100%. It's not going anywhere.
Comedy Festival. So it's really good that you've got that element to it, not just the headliners like Susie McCabe, who's going to be at the Glasgow King's Theatre on the 15th and 16th of March. I think 2 shows on the 16th.
Yes, a wee matinee for those that like to be back in the house.
Yes, under the heated blanket. Merchant of Venice. And Hannah Morton is appearing in the Sad Girls Club, and that's at Oranmore on Saturday the 23rd of March.
Bring me your sad girls, we'll fix them.
Oh, sad girl.
Chris Moyles in the morning, he really is our savior. He's cheeky, fat and funny too, and on his best behavior. Tell your friends to listen in and they can have a laugh. Enjoy Chris Moyles in your bed, your shower or your bath. The Chris Moyles Show sounds great in the car as well.
On the way this morning, how does a 9-month cruise sound to you? I'll be speaking to one couple live from the cruise ship about their journey so far. And
Wanna be told to grow up, and I don't wanna change. I just wanna have fun. I don't wanna be told to grow up.
yeah, it just used to be Peter Pan who never grew up. We'll find out why more adults are buying toys.
Your morning's just got better.
Connie McLaughlin, it's 8:05.
Is aftershave
on BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, we started this morning with a good old laugh there with Hannah Morton, Susan McCabe and Krista McDonald. We're going to talk money now. I don't know if we'll still be smiling after we've spoken to Fergus Muirhead, our personal finance expert. How are you, Fergus?
Very good, thank you.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. Fergus here for a savings surgery, of course, helping you make the most of your money. So whatever aspect it is you're looking at, whether it's pensions, whether you're going to invest in a property, whether you're going to pop it in the bank or do something else with it, he's here to help. Taking calls from 11. The lines are open now. 08085 92 95 00, or you can text, of course, on 80295. Fergus, I don't know whether this is going to keep the laughter going. Maybe not. But this is, I don't know whether it's a survey, but it's in thisismoney.co.uk, working out how much as adults we should have in savings. And an awful lot of people are falling short of the optimum, yeah?
Yeah, I think I think the survey suggested that 1 in 4 of us has less than £500 in savings. And 40% of us have less than £2,000 in savings. So I think that's been a worry for a while, but I think it's got worse over the last couple of years because people have seen the impact of, you know, what everyone's calling the cost of living crisis, where basically an increased cost of borrowing has meant that the mortgage rates have been going through the roof, the cost of loans has been increasing, energy bills have been increasing. So people have been spending more of their income every month paying for things that they need to pay for, which has the knock-on effect of leaving less money to put aside. And I think that's had an impact on savings over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, to throw out another stat there from that same survey, that the percentage of people who don't have any cash at the end of the month is around 20%, 21%.
Yeah,
that's doubled.
And I think worse than that, I think there are some other statistics which were going the rounds last year, which were suggesting that not only have 20% of people got no money at the end of the month, but there's an increase in number of people who are actually dipping into credit cards to pay the bills that they would usually have paid out of income. So, you know, because rates have gone up and because the cost of things have gone up, people's earned income, or the income they have every month, isn't enough to pay for the essentials, and they're actually using their credit card to pay things like mortgages and rents and utility bills and things, or they're taking cash out of credit cards, which is even worse, because the rates of interest that are involved when you start doing that are quite penal.
So what is the best way to manage your situation if you find yourself in that place?
Well, I think the starting point with all these situations is to sit down and, you know, do that budget. We use that word often, but have a look at what comes in every month and what goes out every month, and what do the numbers look like. If the number that comes in every month is bigger than the number that goes out, then you do have enough to start looking at putting something aside for an emergency or for a rainy day. If the number that goes out every month is bigger than the number that comes in, then you've got to start looking at, first of all, making sure you're getting the best deal for everything that you spend money on. I think that's an important place to start. The starting point is looking at what you spend every month and what you bring in every month, and then you've got to look at what you spend on each of the individual items that goes out every month, and make sure that you're getting the best deal for all of that money. Do you have the best mortgage rate you can find? Are you on the best energy tariff? All the computer and phone and television packages that you've got, are you getting the best deal for them? Any insurance policies that you've got, whether it's car insurance or house insurance, life insurance, any of these kind of insurances, are you getting the best deal? So every single bit of money that you spend, you need to take a look at it and make sure that you're getting the best value for that money, if you like.
Yeah, and it's good actually as you describe it there. It is an exercise that you have to go through and devote a bit of time for too. And it's understandable that if people do see, that they are falling into the red every month, you panic, don't you? You just panic. Understandable, but actually trying to get a clear head, and as you say, sitting down, whether it's with a piece of paper and a pen or on a computer, whatever, and go through these things in a very methodical way, can at least get you in the best possible position.
There's a terrible stigma attached to money. We're not very good. We're not very good at teaching people how to deal with money from a very young age. So that means that when people do have to start dealing with money for themselves, in a lot of cases they don't really know the best way to do that. So it is really important that you're able to sit down and look at it and not panic. We've got a terrible bury your head in the sand attitude when it comes to money, especially if we get ourselves in a situation where we've got bills or we've got debts that we can't afford to pay. And rather than picking up the phone and saying to a creditor, I've got a real problem this month, you know that, and I just can't pay you this month. We don't do that. We just kind of wait till the envelope comes in and we hope that they'll forget about it and it'll go away. But the one thing I can guarantee absolutely is that it won't go away. And the best way to get help from your creditors is to tell them that you've got a problem. Because with the best will in the world, most creditors want to help you if you can't pay your bills, but they can't help you if they don't know that you've got a problem. And it's an awful lot easier to get help before you miss the first month's payment than when you're 6 months in arrears. So that's why it's really important to sit down and look at that. You don't. There's all sorts of fancy apps nowadays that you can use to do these budgets. But you don't need an app. You need a bit of pen, you need a bit of paper and a pencil. And this is my net income every month, and this is what I spend, and you add it all up. And it's really quite straightforward. But it's an exercise that people really need to go through on a regular basis, especially now when so many people are struggling and when the cost of things is changing almost on a monthly basis. Yeah,
and there's a lot of focus on, interest rates and whether or not that is a cut in interest rates is going to make a difference to people's situation. We can talk about that after 11. We've got lots to talk about after 11, including is lifestyling affecting your pension pot? Well, I tell you, the people that I'm going to speak to next, be interesting to get their take on that because they're on a 9-month cruise. Fergus, thank you very much. We'll be picking up with Fergus after 11 o'clock this morning. How to make the most of your money. 08085 92 95.
Look, up in the sky.
It's the boy. It's the plane. No, it's Superman Lover, baby.
Daddy. Daddy.
I always get to sit on that lap. I hate
you. Please tell me a story. Alright, get over here and sit your big ass down. Let me tell you a story about the Superman Lover. Yo, I was out for lunch and shit, puffing on the blunt to get my head wrecked. Boogie into my Walkman with the S on my chest. Bust the move. Yes, I'm a superhero, don't forget. I smoke mad niggas, so to hell with cigarettes. But anyway, let's get back to the skit. You know who the fuck I am, so get off that old bullshit. Lunchtime, what's up? Fuck! Let me jet or I'll collect unemployment bucks. On the way back, Jack, I spotted this object, a stray cat, stuck in a tree with the tag that say that. If so, please return to this address. Nigga, with my x-ray eyesight like I jetted to the closest phone booth. Whip flag, I dipped into my super lover suit. I can leave tall buildings. Boom, right through the fucking phone booth ceiling. Nah, Superman Lover's the name. I can slam King Kong and pick up freight trains on a mission to save this cat that was wishing he was in his litter, watching Fritz on Channel 6 and relaxing, feet cocked up, just a little with the cocktail and the bowl, the tender bill. I snatched him, took off through the air like a pigeon, quick so he won't start meowing and bitching. The landed at the cat's tag address in the projects. Elevators roll, so I have to take the back steps. The doors opened and my eyes swole from this badass honey sipping a quarter old gold. Yo, is this your cat? Oh, yes, where you find him at? He was stuck in a tree about uptown Manhattan. Well, how the hell did you save him? Are you police undercover? Nah, baby, the S on my chest stands for Superman Lover, yeah. They call me the Superman Lover, yeah. Something wrong. Something wrong with me. Something wrong.
She was grateful, looking for ways to repay me. No money, a donut and some coffee, maybe. Of course, what kind of show did I thank I make my donut jelly and my coffee safer. We sat, unhooked the cape from my back. She felt my arms, just my pythons look sad. Damn, super lover, your shit look thick. Tell me, how strong are you with muscles like this, you bad motherfucker? Hockey, hit you like Rocky. She dashed to the room and came back with an ounce. Negligee, high heel shoes with a blunt in her mouth. Ready to roll up. Hey, hold up. She had a dollar folder to mix the coke with the smoke. Yo, she was no joke. She took a sniff. Some got on her top lip. That bitch stuck out her tongue and gave her top lip a lick and said, here, baby, hit it. Nah, baby, I ain't with it. You need more than a body to make me wanna sniff that shit. But I'll hit the blunt. So she took out her fronts. Cracked the Philly, opened the bag and laid out the skunk. Then I took a long pull. It was hype. Out of sight. She ran into the bedroom. I cracked my pants for headroom. Laid across the cover and no brother, I was with it. Ready to hit it. Asked my dick. Yo, what's up, Yo, man, shit stick. Licked her on her belly, then kissed her down her back. Stuck my hand between her legs and I felt the Bozak as big as mine. This bitch must be playing, so I threw my suit on and I was swayed. Cause I'm the Superman lover. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Superman lover. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something wrong.
You have the air guitar out during that track where you're doing a bit of headbanging. It's a bit difficult to resist, isn't it? You know, just a little bit. It is 10:41. This is Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. Fergus Muirhead, our personal finance expert, is here after 11 taking your calls. How to make the most of your money. 08085 92 95 00. You can send him a text on 80295. I suspect Fergus won't be mentioning what Audrey and Joe Martucci are doing with their savings. The pair are currently on a 9-month cruise. I'm not that jealous. I think, well, I don't know, they're going to confirm this to me. I think it's 46 grand a ticket. And you can certainly see why their TikTok account is called Spending Our Kids' Money. We've also got Simon Calder with us. But good morning, Joe and Audrey.
Hey, kids. Good morning.
Hey, kids. Oh, you never miss an opportunity, do you, Joe?
No, I don't.
So tell me, I mean, the two of you are sitting there grinning like a pair of Cheshire cats. I take it you're having a good time, are you, Audrey?
We're having a blast. It's been absolutely mental. It's been nuts. Honestly, we'd never imagined that this would happen. Never in a million years.
Yeah, so there's lots of things happened. One, you're on a 9-month cruise. I mean, whose idea was that?
Mine. It was my idea. It was kind of my retirement gift to myself.
Okay, right. And is it £46,000 a ticket?
Yes.
And your children, this is where we get into spending the kids' inheritance, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they always tease us that we're off spending their inheritance, and with this, I guess we are.
And so, Audrey, when Joe first came up with the idea, what was your response?
Well, he wasn't going to retire if we didn't do this. He had no intention of retiring, so I was getting a wee bit bored waiting to travel. But the other thing is that when he came up with this, I had never done a cruise. So we booked it, paid for it, and about a year later he said, maybe we should go on a cruise in case you hate it. So this is only my 4th cruise.
Right, okay. So how far into the 9 months are you?
58 days.
Right, okay.
So we have 220 more days.
And where have you been? Where are you going?
We have been all down the South America coast. We went to Antarctica, which was beautiful and stunning. We were in Peru. We're now in Central America. We're going from here up to the U.S. and then across to Hawaii, then Australia, New Zealand, and all of Asia. And then
from there, after Dubai, when we get to Middle East, Dubai, we're not sure what we're doing with the Red Sea yet. Royal hasn't told us, but that's just an adventure. We have to be flexible and go with the adventure because we just know we're not getting off till September the 8th.
September the 8th, my mum's birthday. I mean, Audrey, you're giggling away there like you can't believe you're doing it.
I honestly can't. I can't. I can't wrap my head around it.
And are you enjoying it?
We're loving it. We're having the best time. Because we made a video, we decided we were going to send videos regularly to our kids just for a laugh. And the first one was, I just said to Joe, listen, go and say something like, remember you thought you had an inheritance. And we did that. And then, well, who was it? One of the kids said...
one of the kids said we should post it, and we posted. We never had done a TikTok, and we posted it, and it just went viral. So, and now we're Cruise Mom and Dad.
Cruise Mom and Dad. So do you do videos every day then that go out to the world?
We do. We do a video every morning that goes completely out goes out on our account, our post or channel, whatever you want to call it. And we do one every day. We introduce the video, and then we show what we did the day before. And we're always into mischievous things. We always do something that's funny, ends up being, makes the people laugh.
So not only then are you cruising for 9 months, you've got a whole new career, Audrey, as social media influencers then.
I don't think we're going to be influencers. We're not polished. We're not, hey, look at this, it's all perfect. We just do one video or several little videos, and we do not edit because we don't know how, and we just throw them out there, and people seem to really enjoy it. So that's kind of it.
And so what are your kids saying about this then?
They're actually loving it.
Yeah.
Do you agree? They love it. I think they secretly knew that we were going to get a lot more than 4 followers.
Right. We thought we'd have our kids following us and maybe a few of their friends, but now we have 91,000 kids and counting.
God, it's incredible. And how do they feel, Audrey, about you being away for 9 months and probably more importantly, spending the best part of 100 grand?
They're absolutely fine with it. We actually booked it 2.5 years ago. So everyone was well aware of our plans, although we just had our first grandson a week and a half ago. So that happened during the planning. So that was kind of emotional, but we're taking wee breaks throughout. Hopefully that we can do a lot more FaceTiming with them. We're going to meet a couple of them at certain stages. So hopefully that'll work out.
Right.
So wee Scottish grandson.
Oh, how lovely.
He lives in Edinburgh.
Yeah. We've got Simon Calder with us, travel expert. Hi, Simon.
Yes, good morning, and how lovely to talk to Audrey and Joe, and thank you so much for keeping us entertained. Can I just ask, the 46,000 buys an inside cabin, is that what you've got, or have you got something a little bit more fancy, perhaps with a window?
We have a balcony. I wouldn't have done this without a balcony. We like to sit out on the balcony and catch the sun, and Antarctica balcony came in very valuable because everything was on our side of the ship.
How marvellous. Well, I'm delighted to hear that, although that pushes up the price, as you will appreciate more than anybody else. I'm also intrigued, if I may, about some of the excursions. Did you go, for example, to the amazing Iguazu Falls in South America, which is advertised on the itinerary? Trouble is, I make it nearly 700 miles from Buenos Aires, which is where the ship actually docked. How does that work?
Well, we actually did go to Iguazu Falls, and it was stunning. But we went on a private excursion where we flew from Buenos Aires to Iguazu Falls, spent 2 days there, spent a night in a hotel, and then came back to the ship.
That sounds a really, really good thing. So you do actually sort of abandon ship in the nicest possible sense for a few days here or there. Will you be doing the same in India? So in the promotional material for the cruise, the Taj Mahal is very high profile, but the trouble is it's over 600 miles from Mumbai, the nearest port. So will you be going to see that?
Yeah, we go for 3 days. That's a 3-day trip, 2 nights. and they'll fly us or take the train up into Taj Mahal, and then spend 2 nights there, and then take the train back to Mumbai and get on the ship there.
Yeah. Simon, you know everything about this. I think you're jealous.
Oh, well, look, I think some of the amazing places. So, for instance, I'm absolutely fascinated that the ship stopped at Devil's Island in Guyana, French Guiana, which somewhere I would always love to go. And of course, the great thing about cruises is that, quotes, you only have to unpack once, and you are taken around all these wonders. However, on behalf of Scotland, I'd like to know why Scotland isn't included. So, because the ship is going to places like Norway, to Ireland, where, by the way, there will be quite a lot going on the Titanic front. One of the myths which has sprung up is that you're not allowed to say Titanic on board the ship. In fact, it's going to Cove in Southern Ireland, where the main reason to go there is to go on the Titanic trail. Simon,
I can report that Audrey looks furious that it's not going to Scotland.
Well, I've been furious for 2.5 years. It's the first thing I said. How can it be a world cruise when you're not going to Scotland?
She actually confronted the captain about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He made a
video.
video for me to say he felt the same way because they weren't going to his home
port in Norway.
And he's the captain's fantastic. He's a lovely, lovely guy. He's very funny. And I did confront him. I was like, it's not a world cruise. And he said, no, I feel your pain. Same thing.
We wanted to go have a cuppa with Audrey's mom in Scotland.
So have you made friends on this? This is a life-changing experience, isn't it?
It really is. It genuinely is. And we have made so many friends. It's unbelievable. It's a small city and we're in a big metal bucket just spinning around. And you'll see people. I always say to people, where have you been? I've not seen you for weeks. That's the kind of joke, because we'll not see them for a couple of days. But yeah, we've made lots of friends. It's amazing.
Oh, listen, we're going to have to let you go. You've got a viral video to make and get out there. The world is waiting. It's been so nice to speak to the pair of you. I mean, what a great thing to do if you've got the resources. And as you say, Joe, it was the only way you were going to retire, and it sounds like you're having an absolute blast. Joe and Audrey Martucci there, who are both on the ultimate world cruise, going round the world, going to see some incredible sights and incredible places for 9 months. Hefty price tag, but there you go. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Simon Calder, thank you very much as well. And if you want to follow their account on TikTok, it is at Spending Our Kids' Money.
Join me, Nicola Meehan, for a new episode of For the Record.
There was a way to do your own music in your own voice.
My guest is singer and songwriter Eddie Reader.
So I was kind of on my own. I wanted to be in a band. I happened at the time to be having a summer fling because I was at a folk club in Findhorn.
Eddie shares the songs that have soundtracked her life and the stories that go with them.
We both realised that we loved each other after knowing each other for 20-odd years.
For the Record, listen now on BBC Sounds.
Who knows baseball and football?
Who knows baseball? Who knows football? Who knows ball? Only one game.
Bo Jackson baseball and football. Either way you look at it, it's a winner. No one knows football and baseball better than Bo Jackson, and no one knows LCD video games better than Tiger.
Still to come this morning.
I can't tell you what it feels like when you put on a piece of underwear and you think, this is quite saucy, but you're literally going to the supermarket. I mean, it's so fun, and you feel so naughty, and nobody knows but you. It's your secret.
That's the familiar tones of Davina McCall there. She is one of the guests at a midlife sex festival, which was founded by Glasgow doctor and sex expert Dr. Claire Macaulay. She's going to be telling us more later on this morning. And also personal finance expert Fergus Muirhead's going to be here just after 11 to kick off the savings surgery. If you've got any questions about how to make the most of your money, 08085 92 95 00 is the number to call.
Get in
I proudly present
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Now, toy sales took a dip last year, except in one sector, the kidult sector. I'm going to let consumer expert Kate Hardcastle from Insight with Passion explain that one. Morning, Kate.
Good morning, Kay. You just made me be a little bit sick in my mouth then. I don't like that phrase at all.
Sorry.
Because I'm a kidult, if that's the case.
You've confessed. OK, so tell us what it is, that word you don't like.
I just don't enjoy it because I'm a grown-up and I don't want to be a kid anything, I suppose. That's just me. It's a personal thing. We're here to talk about the trend more, and the trend is very much... Have you ever heard the phrase the lipstick economy? It kind of explains where people spend, where we don't really have a lot of money, but they'll buy lipsticks.
Yes.
That kind of is a description to explain what we call splurge spending, when I can put my teeth in. And it basically is we're buying joy in very small amounts on affordable items to just make life not as grey and miserable as this February day. So it's the same philosophy. These small toys that bring nostalgia and excitement and joy back into our lives and some fun and frivolity are things that we're treating ourselves to as adults, in the same vein as the lipstick economy, to kind of lift our spirits in challenging times.
But Kate, toys are for children.
Well, I agree to disagree respectfully with you, miss. I am a very big Lego fan. I was a Lego fan before it was cool to be so. I wasn't allowed Lego as a kid. It was actually given to my brother because it was a building block. And I was given these dolls I didn't want to play with. So as soon as I became a grown-up, I was a secret Lego addict. And I have been ever since.
You go out unabashed and buy Lego and don't even pretend that it's a present for your nephew or your niece.
I am not going in going, I wonder if he would like this. I'm not sure if it's what she has already. I'm like, this is for me. I'm very excited. Have we got the new one in stock yet? Because I get so much joy and relaxation from that craft and that art. And it brings me something that I can afford, and I can't book a big expensive holiday when these holidays are adverts. You know, they're all a mass at the minute. You switch your TV, it's just constant holiday. I want to see something where I go, yeah, I can actually afford to do that. That's something I can do. And that's what Lego does for me and countless other people. I've been looking into some of the trends this weekend. It's amazing, some of the things that are coming back into fashion on eBay. Mr. Frosty being one of them, by the way.
Oh, I remember Mr. Frosty. Gosh, it's such interesting psychology. We've also got Amy Morton with us. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hi. Well, you kind of, Lego's not your thing, is it? But what is it that you like to kind of buy as an adult, but people would think was kid stuff?
I do quite like Lego. It's more my boyfriend that likes it, but I kind of join in when he builds it. But for me, it's not really toys. It's a strange one. Mine is Christmas baubles, and it's always Disney themed. I'm a big Disney adult, is what they call it, and I just get such joy from building my collection and looking at them and seeing where I've been and just building this, and it gives me so many nice memories. That's kind of where I get the joy.
And is it only the baubles, or are you into other kind of Disney stuff?
I'm just into Disney in general. It's basically my whole life. I'm just obsessed with it. I love going to the parks. I love buying just lots of stuff I don't need to buy. I just waste money on it, but it gives me so much joy. But it's just everything I can get my hands on.
And is it in some ways an escape from, adult cares and worries?
Definitely. It's something that can transport me back to being that age for just even half an hour of just reminiscing or actually going out and buying something. And it just makes me feel happy. And then it just is a bit of a distraction from hard things that you have to deal with as you're now an adult. So it's just, it's nice.
Yeah. God, it's fascinating, that, isn't it? So get in touch, 80295, sort of childhood, either toys or pastimes or pursuits that you return to that give you a little bit of joy. It'd be interesting to hear from you because, Kate, this is a trend. Toy sales were down apart from this one little bit.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And when you are in retail or manufacturer right now, you are looking to the trends. The trends are moving faster than ever, and you are trying to work out how you can make those sales and boost them. And it's just literally what's happening on social media prevalently, and how people are adapting and reacting to things that they want to do. And so, vive la difference. If that's what you want to do, spend your money.
I'm frantically thinking about what I would go back to, and it has to be the fabled chopper bike If I could still get one of those with the gear stick and the double seat. I don't like the modern version. So expect to see me sometime soon on the streets of Glasgow on a purple chopper bike to explore and try and rekindle some of my joy. It is 11:06. This is Kay Adams with you till 12. This is what's coming up. I should have told Christine about this. She'll want to go to this. Will Christine, I tell you?
I'm inviting you to the Midlife Sex Festival, the science-based, real-world sex education for perimenopausal and menopausal women.
There you go. That is Dr. Claire Macaulay, founder of the Midlife Sex Festival. She's going to be speaking to us very soon. Somebody give Christine a wee call, see if she wants to come in and listen. Personal finance expert Fergus Muirhead will be back with his savings surgery, helping you make the most of your money. Give him a call, 08085 92 95 00. You can text 80295 and...
She needed to put a broom in there and distract the puppies with the broom, like run it over the floor, like shake it. And from our understanding, it was at this point my mum was attacked.
Well, yet another horrific story. The woman who was killed in a dog attack was apparently told to distract a litter of puppies by using a broom. Do we need to be teaching people how to stay safe around dogs?
All the conversations that matter.
Mornings with Kay Adams on BBC Radio Scotland.
Right, savings surgery coming up. 08085 92 95 00 is the number.
If you go, I'll move.
of our personal finance expert, Fergus Muirhead, for our savings surgery. I know you went upstairs for a wee cup of tea, so you probably missed my chat earlier on with Joe and Audrey Martucci, who are not taking any of the advice that you will probably give, Fergus, about what to do with their retirement money, because they're blowing it on a 9-month world cruise. Probably, well, I don't know, £46,000 a ticket was the minimum, but they had a cabin with a balcony, so I think they were on a higher sort of tariff than that. Do you ever advise someone just to blow it?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't take it with you. We spent a lot of time earlier on this morning looking at saving and making sure you've got an emergency fund. But if you've got these bases covered and you've retired and you've done your sums and your sums say that you've got enough money to spend £46,000 on a ticket for a cruise, then why wouldn't you? And people quite often, I regularly get emails and things from people looking for help who are asking that question, that they're scared to spend money because they don't want to run out of money. But the bottom line is the reason that so many children and grandchildren end up with so much of an inheritance is because their parents don't spend their money and it's largely down to fear. It's the fear of, not the fear of missing out, the fear of running out. And people get terrified of running out of money.
Well, also that sort of passing it on, isn't it? Because Joe and Audrey were great characters, the pair of them, and they've now got a TikTok account and goodness knows how many followers. And the tagline is spending our kids' money.
Yeah.
And again, that's what kind of prevents people and holds them back because they feel a duty to pass it on, don't they?
Yeah.
So Joe and Audrey are not going down that line. So whatever questions you have got, we've got a couple of calls in. We've got Leonie and Margaret, so I'll stop gabbling on here and pass over. But just to remind you of the numbers, 08085 92 95 00 to give Fergus a call, or you can text 80295. So we've got Leonie first. Morning, Leonie.
Morning.
Good morning. So Fergus is here. So how can he help you?
Well, basically I've inherited quite a bit of mixture of property and bonds, shares, not so much cash. And I don't really know where to start, what to do with it. I'd like to keep the house, but then I've got 2 houses, so what do I do there?
There's so many questions in there, Leonie, that it's really difficult to know where to start. But I would take you back to where I started when Kay asked me about people that don't have any savings earlier on this morning, because the principle is not really that much different. I mean, I don't know anything about you in terms of your age or your income or your current status financially, apart from the money you've just inherited. But if you've got enough money to do the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis at the moment before you inherited that money, then presumably all that money becomes surplus to requirements, for want of a better expression. And therefore you need to decide what your longer... If you don't need it on a day-to-day basis, presumably you want to use it either for your benefit over the longer term or for the benefit of whoever's going to get all of your money when you die. So you need to start thinking about what are my objectives? What do I think I want to gain from this money? You've said you want to keep the house. What would you do with the house? You can't have 2 houses. You can only live in one house. Would you rent the other one out? If you're not going to rent it out, why would you keep it unless you're going to live in it yourself? And I don't know about the geographical location. It might well be that, there's probably more questions to ask you than answers this morning. But I think the starting point is to sit down and ask yourself all these questions. What is it that you want this money to do for you? How can this money best improve your life and the lives of those that are going to be left with it after you've finished with it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Who do I go to ask that?
Well, that's an interesting question as well. I think that what you want to do is find yourself some sort of independent financial advisor who's qualified to talk about all these areas with you. And you can go online and you can find that. Go into unbiased.co.uk, which is the site that will put you in touch with independent financial advisors in the UK. Speak to friends and family members that already take advice from somebody, and see if you know anyone that can recommend somebody for you. And I think if you talk to someone, the conversation you want to have with him or her is about what I've just said. What is your current situation? what are you trying to get all this money to do for you, and how do you get from your current situation to where you want to be with all this money? And you might end up speaking to 2 or 3 different advisors that will give you 2 or 3 different lots of ideas, and then you have to go with the one that you think is best suited to what it is that you want to achieve. But it will involve a conversation with you about your current situation, about your tax situation, about your income, about cash you've already got, about your objectives, about let's call it attitude to risk. You know, if you look at if you look at what you want to do with your money on a scale of 1 to 10, 1's under the pillow, 10's the 230 at Newmarket. Where are you most comfortable investing? You know, because some people need to keep their money under the pillow, regardless of how much they've got, and other people are quite happy to put it all in the 230 at Newmarket. So a whole range of different questions.
It is funny though, isn't it, Leonie, in that you've come into this inheritance, which immediately you think,